Stranded in the middle of the ocean, I've got 100 days to build a happy settlement and research all the technology to escape. Will I be able to do it in time to get out of this crazy place? I started off by gathering all the wood and leaves on the beach, then built out my platform a bit when there wasn't any more I could reach. I placed this water pump next and got started seeing what all I could catch. Off in the distance, I could see several more islands bigger than mine. Guess I'll work my way to them eventually. I tried and failed to catch this box as it floated by, but I did end up catching this one. Ooh, lots of goodies. At this point, the game really wanted me to pump some seawater, but I think I'd just rather do this on my own, thanks. I continued catching things and expanding my dock that night until eventually I got close enough to toss the penguin a fish. It gobbled it up and spit some sand back at me. Then I fed it another, but got nothing in return. Next morning, I started by placing this distillery. Apparently, it's not good for you to drink water straight from the sea. After that, I made this workshop and storage box I don't know how to use. Guess maybe I should finally pump that water. I put the seawater I got from that into the distillery, then enjoyed it with one of these nice teriyaki meals I'd found in that box. Caught this fancy golden fish later that evening. Wonder what happens if you feed it to the penguin. Well, this time it just pooped. I wasn't sure if I'd need it or not later, so I picked it up just in case. Finally opened the workshop after that. Looks like you can research things here. Guess I'll start with the only thing available, agriculture, which unlocked these nice little farm plots I can place. I made 4, but only had enough seeds for 2, so I planted some vegetables and meat, however that works. Then just deleted the extras for now, because in this game you get 100% of your materials back. To go with all that, I placed a birdhouse too. Pretty sure it gives you seeds from the bird poop. And this trap, which gives you meat from the birds. Picked my first raw vegetable next. Yeah. Then used it in the workshop to unlock this grill and charcoal kiln. Now we're really cooking. Fire! You know what else is pretty hot though? Our sponsor, the new installment in the classic hack and slash franchise, Dungeon Hunter 6. A free-to-play mobile ARPG where you can play as a bounty hunter with multiple class options and a unique hero collector feature. Featuring both PvE and PvP game modes, including real-time guild wars and raids, Dungeon Hunter 6 also allows you to loot, ride, and fly the over 100 unique bosses you can defeat. Along with being able to summon up to 3 of them onto the battlefield to follow you and perform combo skills, or even shapeshift into them to harness the ultimate power. With new classes and units updated monthly, the fun is virtually endless. Dungeon Hunter 6 also has many creative additions, including the ability to turn into a cat on stealth missions, and a customizable mount system where you can ride various fantasy creatures and machines when meeting other players. It takes its 3D graphics performance to the next level with stunning skill animations optimized for multicasting, ensuring the best visual experience and smoothest combat on mobile devices. You can download the game now for free on both Android and iOS. Just use my link in the description or scan my QR code if you're on PC for a special starter pack including 10 summoning scrolls, 1 SSR Lieutenant the Demonic Wolf, and an accessory pack. You can also use your game account to enter the Launch Lucky Spin event for free-to-win prizes like an iPhone 15 Pro Max, PS5, and more starting October 15th. Just check out the description for details. With the wood cooking up into charcoal, I stopped to pick my first seeds out of the birdhouse poo box before researching a fertilizer bonus, which makes all the crops grow 10% faster. I built quite a bit more on day 4. Boop, 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 boop. Then placed these snack stands I'd researched with some charcoal. I may not have any people to eat from them yet, but I'll be ready when they get here. Added more birdhouses next and unlocked a couple more things. Then, when a storm rolled through that night, things got interesting. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my god. Why? Why? What do I do? Put out the fire. Put out the fire. After that fiasco, I used some leaves to make these nets. They have a chance to collect some of the junk floating by, so I can do other things with my time, like checking out this fancy camera angle. I unlocked housing that day and added a couple more nets, then put in this fancy water tank before spending the night expanding my dock. I added a whole nother section, and then as soon as I added this pier, this guy on a raft appeared. He said he'd stay if I built him a house, so I did just that. Welcome aboard, Alf. As he got to work carrying things from station to station, I built a couple more gardens and got to work on this cookhouse. I added this table too, but then I realized it was blocking one of the bridges. Never mind then, how about I put you right here instead? Had a quick chat with this lady next. Looks like if I research enough stuff and gather the right materials, I can get out of this mess. Unlocked sprinklers after that and added some more houses when another raft showed up at the pier. This time it was a lady who wanted a hot meal, so I gave her some teriyaki and put her to work at the water pump, giving me plenty of time to to finish this platform and do some more research. I noticed Alf was getting tired early the next morning.
I'm about to crash.
But before I can unlock the sleeping rock, I'll have to get more leaves. I invited this guy who wanted some seeds next. Then, before I could collect enough leaves to get the sleeping rock, Alf decided to take a nap. I eventually managed to find one leaf, but got impatient and decided to demolish these instead. Give me back my leaves. I replaced them with platforms and got struck by lightning, which made me sad. That's okay. Look, I've got sleeping rocks now. Welcomed this guy aboard after that, and then placed a couple sleeping rocks near the houses. With all these new people, I guess I should probably start working on some food. I placed those snack stands a long time ago, but never fixed anything to put in them. So I started grilling some meat and added another grill for vegetables, and set the cookhouse to make teriyaki, but forgot to assign anyone to work there. Thankfully though, the snack stands don't need workers, just people to supply them with food. I decided I should rearrange some things after that. Maybe I'll put the workshop here, add some nets on the corners, moved the water system to the edge and added some pipes to connect them, then moved the grill right next to the snack stand. There we go. On the morning of day 9, this mysterious raft showed up. With 2 chests to choose from, I think I'll just let my daughter pick which one. Which one should we do?
Blue.
And blue it is. Inside, I found 20 raw fish and a whip. It asked if I wanted to give it to Alf, but I kept it for myself instead. In hindsight, I probably should have given it to him because I didn't even use the darn thing. I rearranged these birdhouses next and started to build a bridge to these chickens. Missed this box floating by that night. And then finally realized I needed to assign someone to work in the cookhouse. Sounds like a good job for Pickle Rick. The next raft that showed up had this guy in a superhero outfit. Turns out he actually is super and can't get injured. So I put him to work in this new scuba station diving for iron ore that has a 2% chance of injury. Later that day, this penguin showed up, but I couldn't understand anything it said. We jabbered for a bit, but then it just up and left. So I got back to work and added this smelter and filled it up with iron ore to turn into bars. Despite things going well, my people seemed sad. I'll have to figure out something to do about that. But first, there's someone else who's shown up on a raft. Let's all welcome Magnifique and his fancy chef hat. Looks like he's got some mad cooking skills. Sorry, Pickle Rick, you're out of the job. Now I'll add another scuba station so Jim Bob can collect some sand, and this smelter to turn it into glass, which I need to make this fancy dance floor. Now dance and be happy, people.
I miss my family.
Completely forgetting about the chicken bridge, I ended up building this bridge to the lighthouse that night, then set up this storage the next day to collect iron bars so I could fix it. While the settlers worked on that, I added a couple more birdhouses and nets, had a dance party, and then sent this lady away because I didn't have the seeds she wanted. I also didn't have anything I needed to research more, so I set up another scuba station and smelter to make some bricks. I left those cooking up and found that I had enough iron bars now to fix the lighthouse. Yay! And as soon as I got it going, this boat showed up. The blacksmith lady driving it wanted to trade, so I gave her some teriyaki and a golden fish for some extra iron bars and this medicine. I gave her a little extra to score some friendship points, and then she let me buy this hammer that makes my whole settlement smelt iron more efficiently. Bye-bye. As she floated away, I went for a quick snack break. Then welcomed this new settler named Bestie, who is apparently good with a hammer. How convenient. I've got the perfect job for you. I had enough bricks now to research the prayer lounge, but nowhere to put it. Box. Oh, I hate it when I miss the boxes. So after using some glass to research lighthouse range, I spent the rest of the day and most of my wood expanding the dock. Yeah. Now I've got plenty of room, but I also got distracted. The new lighthouse range had attracted another trader named Dr. Squid, and this one had all sorts of neat things. I traded for a little bit of everything before getting back to work. Oh, give me the poops. A box. Then took a water break and invited another settler when I realized my houses were all full. More houses it is then. Farmer Dave showed up next, and he's got a golden retriever pet. If I build up our friendship enough, I can buy it. But for now, I'll just have to settle for this recipe book. Oh, and look, I finally placed that prayer lounge. And prayers. Upgraded my grills, too, and added another one for cooked fish. And welcomed aboard another new settler. It's Santa. This unknown scientist showed up on the morning of day 17, and he's got a fishing rod that can extend my reach. I couldn't get it yet, but for now I bought this blueprint piece and started working on our friendship. Meanwhile, this sailor showed up with some stuff to build a boatyard. Let's build boats. I was pretty excited and welcomed him aboard, only to find that I couldn't research it yet. But I can research this bar. That should make the settlers happier. I can't make anything there but ice yet, but sorry people, you get what you get. I continued working on my research tree that night and the next day, though I did have a few distractions along the way. Oh my... What is... Gimme. Ah! I'll eventually unlock that boatyard, but it's looking like maybe I should work on healthcare next, because I think Jim Bob broke his leg. I used the medicine I had traded for to research it, and while I waited, I upgraded all these sleeping rocks. Oh, I'm sorry. Once the mattress I needed was unlocked, though, I didn't have enough feathers to make it. Guess it's time to add back this scary-looking bird trap. Sorry, birdies. I did at least upgrade their houses, though. While I waited for feathers, I went diving for sand to make this garden for wheat. We need wheat. Then, by lunch, I had all the feathers I'd need. It requires some vegetables, too, but this settler took it before I could grab it. No, I want that. I eventually got it back and made the mattress, but before it can heal anyone, I have to add medicine. Don't worry, Jim Bob, we'll have you fixed up in a jiffy. The unknown scientist showed up next, and I was hoping he would have some. Well, no medicine, but I was able to give him some steel to up our friendship, and now I can buy this fishing rod off of him. Ooh, look how far I can catch things now. Luckily, the blacksmith showed up next, and I was able to buy some medicine. Here you go, Jim Bob. Heal up now and get yourself back to work. Day 21, I added more gardens and this sprinkler, then traded again for more medicine and this hook, which I used to upgrade this scuba station. Had a quick dance party while doing some research that night. Just what I've always wanted, mealworm. After that, I invited this lady aboard with some cooked vegetables, and the next day was mostly more of the same. Ooh! What did I catch? Salmon. Box. Yes. Berries. Storage. Upgrade. Yes. I spent most of day 23 placing these mills I'd unlocked. Now I'll be able to make all sorts of things, like this white sand, which I'm pretty sure is just sugar. Once they were set up, my people got right to work bringing supplies, and I got back to work expanding our dock. Chickens! I finally made that bridge to the chickens just before this garden caught fire. Raft! I put it out and then traded for some more medicine the next day, cause injured settlers can't work and we can't be having that. Did a bit more research for the research tree. Then, with plenty of steel now, I added another bridge. It opened up a much bigger space to build in, so I spent the whole night filling it in with wooden platforms. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but it's here. For now, I added another water pump and distiller, then upgraded the old one and the new one too. That should make sure we've got plenty of water, but now we're starting to run low on food. I worked in the cookhouse the next morning for a bit to help out, then took a quick dance break and ignored this fire I was so stressed out. Spent some time working in the bar next. I made some alcohol to research hope, because I'm sure that'll keep us from starving to death. Still low on food, I spent the next day rearranging things and adding more gardens. I wanted to take better advantage of these sprinklers and ended up with this design. Then I think I'll put the birdhouses over here for now. They're pretty easy to walk around. To finish it up, I added this new parrot, which takes seeds from the birdhouses to deliver to the gardens. The next morning, I added this igloo to catch some fish, but didn't realize it had to have a penguin in it. Oh, I don't have a penguin. I researched this haymaker too, but we were still struggling with food. So I did some fishing myself the next day and upgraded the cookhouse, then added a couple more birdhouses for seeds and these nets to catch more fish. I rearranged the mills next and added the haymaker, then despite spending the night restocking the snack stand, Alf was still hungry.
I don't need rain, I need food.
Guess it's more fishing and vegetable picking for me in the morning. I built another set of houses that day too, then traded with Dr. Squid for this broken radio and some hooks. Spent the night continuing to help with the food supply, and used the hooks to upgrade the scuba stations the next morning. I'm not exactly sure what to do with the broken radio yet, but I'm guessing I'll need it eventually. Invited this guy aboard after that. Hang on a second, I didn't order a Pikachu from Wish.com. I sent the next person away. I barely have enough medicine for my people, much less you. Then started researching chicken coops before climbing up on the lighthouse to enjoy the view. On day 33, I unlocked this underwater exploration. Ooh, there's so many things. But looks like Jim Bob's broke again, so maybe I should heal him up first. Right after I grabbed this box, of course. Give me that box. Luckily, the blacksmith showed up later that day, and I was able to trade for more medicine. Dance party, dance party. Then, after a quick dance party, it was time to get to that underwater exploration, which starts by making a submarine. I wrote it down to the bottom of the ocean, where you can sort of just walk around. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but this definitely wasn't it. I put a settler to work at this shiny patch of minerals first thing, then spent most of the next day just exploring. There were some rocks it says I can remove with bots, uranium ore that also requires bots, and a crashed spaceship-looking thing that the settlers seem to think is a plane. Alf says it's not, though, and it reminds him of an aircraft he used to pilot. It doesn't look like a plane to me. Listen to Alf. I think I'll be going with Alf on this one. After that, I decided to check out this orange thing, but I was so focused on it I didn't even notice the giant shark. It didn't move at all, but it didn't have to freak me completely out. I think I'll just stay over here, thanks. I used the minerals we collected to make this turbine and drill, then added a bunch more turbines with this power supply, and a mega drill. I set it to collect copper first, which I can put in this new refinery and turn it into bronze. While that was working, I added this new storage for the new material, then found the mini drill had already drilled all it could drill. They're only good for 20 drills for these raw minerals, which then have to be refined into regular minerals. So I added one more refinery to work on that, then headed back up for some fresh air. In the box. On day 36, I finally realized I could make crackers for the parrot in the cookhouse, so I made a new one and got to work. We're gonna make some crackers for Polly. Then, before I could take them to her, Polly came to get her own crackers. Turns out there were actually a lot of things I was missing you could make in a cookhouse, so I made 2 more the next day for chicken feed and cooking oil. I wanted to surround this sprinkler with gardens next, but changed my mind when I realized I wouldn't be able to center it. Never mind, I guess I'll just delete these nets that haven't been catching anything anyway, and put my new gardens over here. Okay, I just built it. Birdhouse, a birdhouse, a birdhouse. Added some birdhouses to go with them too, and grabbed some blueberries so I could upgrade them all. Then used some flour to upgrade all my new cookhouses. I decided to move my chicken coop over closer to the one making chicken feed, then added one more cookhouse to make medicine. After that, I'd finally gotten far enough in my research I could unlock the boatyard, but when I went to build it, there was this raft waiting with a chicken and a peacock. Well, hello there. I had a few options to choose from, but clearly chose the wrong one. Grab them. Grab the peacock. No. Well, at least I can make this boatyard to cheer myself up now. Yes. Manage boats. Looks like there are 4 different boats I can make, so I made myself this rowboat and then didn't even touch it for almost another 10 days. Instead, I spent the next day just upgrading things, and the next day researching robots and super chicken food. Day 41, I went back to the bottom of the ocean. I wanted to make the AI hub for the robots I'd unlocked, but I'll need microchips before I can make it. So I did a bit of work to get those going, then headed back up top. Waiting on me was another chicken and peacock, and this time I'm going to make them some chicken food. I started with teriyaki to turn into mealworms, and while I waited, I upgraded all my cookhouses to the next level with cooking oil this time. By that night, my settlers had turned the mealworms into chicken feed, and now I've got the 10 I need to give the 2 birds. And that did the trick to slow them down, so now I can catch them both. I put the chicken in the coop with the other one, then added a second coop for the peacock, and an incubator for their eggs. Farmer Dave stopped by early the next day. I made some extra nice trades so I could finally buy his dog, but after giving him so much stuff, I didn't have enough left to buy it. Well, guess it's back to the chickens. I made another coop for the baby chicks, then this nice grill to put them on once they're all grown up. Day 45, I worked at the bar to make some fruity drinks for this Santa lady. Then the blacksmith showed up again, and now she's selling minerals. I'll take some of those, please. I put out a birdhouse fire that night, then upgraded the incubator on day 46. Farmer Dave came by again that day, too, and I was finally able to buy his golden retriever dog. Welcome to our dock, Havendock. When I realized I could give it a bone, I ran to grab it one. It's supposed to make the settlers all a little bit happier, so maybe now they won't mind starving so much. That shouldn't be a problem for much longer, though. Day 47, I finally remembered to take that rowboat for a spin. I should have done this way sooner. Look at all the stuff I can get. I rowed right up to this island next, and on it was this zoologist. Not any zoologist, though. Apparently, she can talk to animals. So I invited her back to our settlement and returned to find the penguin waiting on us. With the lady I'd found, I could understand it now. Apparently, it wants some sushi. Not sure how it knows what sushi is, but it's gonna have to wait until I can get some seaweed to make it. For now, I think I'll hop in the submarine and head down to check on my drills. These two were worn out, so I deleted them and added another one. Then this giant beacon thing that produces knowledge I can use for more research. I would have stayed down longer, but I think I'm about to starve to death, so I headed back up for some lunch. That's better. Grabbed a quick drink too and upgraded this chicken coop, bought this bot from the unknown scientist, and then it was back to the bottom of the sea for me. This time I added some storage for the little pink orbs of knowledge, made some motors in a refinery to upgrade the refineries, but that used all my microchips, leaving me without any to make the AI hub for the robots. Oops. Well, at least the refineries work faster now, so I can make some more. Made a trade after that with the blacksmith for more minerals, and used those to make another turbine and power supply. Next, I finally unlocked the stuff to grow seaweed, so I placed a few spore catchers surrounded by some gardens to grow it in. While I waited for it to grow, I started turning this coal from the mega drill into graphite, then added an extra refinery and another turbine, before collecting my first few spores to plant. By the next morning, some of the seaweed was done, so I took it up top to turn it into sushi. Looks like it needs to be dried seaweed though, so I stuck it on the grill and then moved the chickens over to a new one. Once it was dry, I combined it with some salmon at the cookhouse to make the sushi, then delivered it to the penguin. His name is Pingu, and now he's going to work at the igloo, where I can give him a golden fish to catch me a bunch of regular fish. I gave Havendock a bone after that. I don't really get anything back. He was just so cute I couldn't resist. And then he even hung out with me while I made some drinks for this guy. Day 52, it was back underwater to grab some more seaweed. I used some of it to research better spore catchers and plankton nets, and the rest I dried to upgrade this bird nest. This guy with a cabbage on his head showed up after that. Then I decided to go see what else I could find in the rowboat. There was another island I didn't realize I could reach, and it's got bunnies. Aww. It is adorable. Plus some little bushes with cocoa and coffee beans. I'll take some of those, please. You can build different things on this island, like a rabbit house, and I can grow different things like carrots, or more of those coffee or cocoa beans. I added a parrot, too, to help with things. When I was done, I already had some carrots ready, so I put them in the rabbit house to make more bunnies. Went home that night and bought more minerals from the blacksmith, then took them down under to make more microchips. Put down another refinery to turn dried seaweed into rope too, and then ended up using most of my microchips to research smart homes, which makes my settlers happier. To be honest, I think I forgot about needing them for the AI hub, but don't worry, I'll remember in a day or two. Finished the night by inviting another settler aboard. I've got 41 now. I got distracted on day 56 and ended up forging some steel to make this bridge, and when I got over there, I couldn't help but use a bunch of docks to fill it all in. When I was done, I went to see what was up these stairs and found this little bird. It was injured, so I gave it some bird medicine I bought back forever ago. Lady, where'd you go? But then it just flew away towards a giant nest on top of the bunny island. I finished up with some platforms up top too, then added a bit more housing. Started off the next morning by cooking some breakfast. Then back under the sea, I finally made that AI hub for the robots. Be free, little robot. Well, free to work for me anyway. Now delete these rocks, please. Back up top, I used some of the knowledge orbs to research fast settlers, and made this dessert stand for donuts while I waited for it to unlock. Donuts. Well, would you look at 'em go? The next morning, rearranging this garden in the rain. Then chatted for a bit with this bot before heading back underwater to give it another job. I assigned it to work at the spaceship. Teehee. Oh, that's the cutest name. Before heading back up to grab some eggs to invite this lady aboard. Yes, I guess I do have 22 farms, thanks. So nice of you to notice. I spent most of day 59 upgrading the storage and turbines, and then I was tired of waiting for chicks to grow up, so I deleted this and added more chicken coops. Oh look, it's another raft with a chicken and a peacock. I didn't want to make 10 more chicken feeds, so this time I just tried to grab the chicken, and this time I managed to catch it. I know exactly what to do with you. Day 60, I used some of the rope I'd made to upgrade my nets. Finished up this wall of turbines, and added this new oil rig. Went back to Bunny Island on day 61, and spent the day picking beans. I built this big staircase as the sun set, and climbed it to find a very big nest. It looks like it needs some repairs though. I was able to fix most of it, but still need some hay and some rope. And it's storming. I noticed this dangerous looking number on my way back. Guess I should probably do something about that.
Okay, so we should probably do something about the pollution.
Some of the underwater things cause pollution, and that slows down our crop growth, which will back up everything. So I turned off this oil rig to start, and then added this filtration device. Well, at least it's not going up anymore. Added these plankton nets next and upgraded them, plus this charging hub for the robots.
We were rolling in the ocean.
It was back to Bunny Island that evening where I used some rope to repair the big nest, but forgot to bring the hay I needed. Let loose some baby bunnies too, then went home to find I didn't have enough hay yet. Day 63, I added some storage for the bar, and spent some time rearranging things for a new water supply. No one was thirsty, but they were having problems getting water to different stations, and I'm not sure why. After that, I was pretty thirsty though. This new settler wanted a pasta the next morning, and they called me a dirty liar when I thought I had one but didn't. Oops. I went and got one just to prove them wrong, and also because of their fancy outfit. Placed this coffee maker that night along with a grill to roast the beans, then spent the next few days upgrading and rearranging things.
Oop, oop, and here, delete you, and you, delete. Now the bar, actually get rid of that, and that, and that, and that. Turn it, boop, boop. And delete it. Boom. Boop.
On day 68, I finally headed back underwater, where I upgraded the filtration device to help with the pollution from this new power plant. I set it to burn coal before adding these new and improved spore catchers too, and another refinery. Back up top, I unlocked this desalination plant.
Ooh, water. Underwater water.
Then, on day 69, it was back to the bushes on Bunny Island, cause I definitely need more coffee. And after that, I spent the day making dextrin at the cookhouse so I could make this new chemical plant I'd unlocked. I connected one to the oil rig to make refined oil, and made another for sulfur, which I used to make some batteries for the robots next. I've got another one now, though I can't remember how. Then, I kept running low on power, so I used some of these circuit boards, which I've been calling microchips, to upgrade the turbine. Used some extra batteries to upgrade the power supplies too, and added this underwater water pump connected to the filtration device to help deal with all the pollution. Made my way back up after that to trade with the unknown scientists. I got another bot and some blueprint pieces I can use to research upgrades for them. I mean, who doesn't want faster robots? I went underwater next and realized Teehee wasn't working on the spaceship anymore, so I assigned it back and the other robot too. Never mind this flashing orange investigate button down here. I'm sure it's nothing. I set my sights on crafting this diesel boat the next morning. I'll need it before I can travel to any of the further islands, so I guess it's just Bunny Island again today. After that, I went underwater to get the oil I needed to make it, but stopped in to check on the bots at the spaceship when I finally noticed that big orange button. They found some nanochips in this flare, which I'm sure I'll test out at some point. I didn't have enough oil for the new boat yet. For now, I guess I'll just upgrade the oil rig and a bunch of other things down here. I did some more research and worked in the cookhouse that night, then went back the next day to check on my oil to realize the chemical plant was just eating it all. So I switched it to stop refining oil and to make batteries instead, and after killing a bit of time doing some other things, boom, got it. I finally had the oil I needed to make the diesel boat.
Diesel boat. Look at me in my boat.
With it, I was able to reach this interesting icy place with a polar bear and an elephant. They didn't seem to care much about me, so I went inside this big house to find not much at all, really. The game's still in early access, so it could not be finished yet, or maybe I'm just missing something. That wasn't the case with this next place, though.
Hello.
I can build more here, including this fisherman's dock. Looks like with it, I can catch shrimp, squid, or tuna.
Shrimp.
Now I just need someone to work there. I can't hire my normal settlers, and these guys look pretty useless. So instead, I recruited Phil. Now go catch me some shrimp, please. I made him a house and a happiness hut, too. Then another house and this bench, which I guess is made for sleeping. Added a bit of storage, too, and then climbed up on this thing to check out the view.
Oh, I've got balloons. I didn't know I had balloons.
I left Phil to fish and went to check out this island next. Looks like I'll need an even better boat for that. I was able to get to this place, but in order to climb up, I'll have to go get some things. I spent most of day 75 trying to collect some coffee I needed for research.
Sorry, my coffee.
But all the settlers kept taking it before I could grab any. So I unchecked the take output box and didn't even notice the one that said can be consumed. Then I just left it to brew. A very frustrated me discovered it later that night.
Okay.
It's okay though, I eventually got it right.
Ah, there we go.
I also unlocked these fireworks that day. I've got everything I need to shoot one except for dextrin. Not for long though, looks like the settlers are already bringing some. Guess you guys are ready for fireworks too.
Woo!
On day 76, I put down this bone altar and cauldron, and not long after, this witch showed up at the lighthouse. I traded with her for a variety of strange things, including this magic sauce I used for research, and this pixie that can make pixie or moon dust. I wanted to put down some storage after that, but didn't have enough space, so I picked it all up and spent the night moving it over to this place. I added another bar the next day to make hot chocolate for the moon dust, then some extra storage, this fancy light bar, and a Christmas tree. Isn't it so pretty? I spent the next day very happily upgrading the turbines and this filtration system. After that, I noticed that someone was hungry and thirsty, but that didn't make any sense because we've got plenty of food and water. Oh, it must be Phil. So I headed back over to the shanty shack where I recruited Melvin and made them a booze barrel and a table. I'm not sure how that takes care of food and water, but I'm not complaining. I stopped by Bunny Island on my way home where I finally had the hay to fix the bird nest. And when I did, this giant bird came and plopped right in it. Well, hello there. Looks like if I give it some things, I'll get another bird back. Day 80, I started working on some pixie dust, added a cookhouse for chocolate, and then assigned Pikachu to work at the cauldron. With only 20 days left, I was getting pretty close to unlocking everything, but there were some things for research I didn't even know how to get yet. So I started researching this water plant upgrade, and then went down under to assign Miss Emotionless to start working on this uranium ore. If I use it in the power plant, it doesn't make any pollution. I upgraded it too, and placed a couple of these mini drills for more minerals. Then I tried to place this underwater steel factory, but it needs a special grid to put it on. I'm guessing it's under these rocks somewhere, so I put Teehee to work getting rid of them, and spent the night cooking up more dextrin to make this chemical plant. I headed back to the shanty next to add another fisherman's dock, but for the first time in a long time, I was out of wood. That's okay though, I've got a boat. I caught what I needed and made the new fisherman's dock. Now catch me some squid, Melvin. I had the hook and rope I needed now to climb up to this island, and on top of it, I found Cattleman Josh. I traded with him for milk and some other things, but I'll have to build up our friendship before I can buy a cow. I was starving and thirsty, so I tried to steal his drumstick. Then, when I realized I could build, I just couldn't resist. I really wanted to place this barn, but apparently I have not enough cow for that. Hustled back home after that before I thirsted to death. Ah, that's better. Ate some cooked vegetables too, and then went to set some more rabbits free. Then, while I was researching more things, I added another refinery to make hooks that I can use to upgrade those fisherman docks. Now, while those craft, I think I'll make some more gardens. Let's do sugar cane, wood, and herbs. I put a new water supply nearby next, and started crafting this magic broom to upgrade my cauldron. Then it was off to make another fisherman's dock to catch some tuna. The witch came by while I was there, so I stopped by in my boat to trade with her for some magic wands. I don't know what they do yet, but of course I want them. Snatched another chicken from a raft when I got back, and added some birdhouses near my new garden. Then used that magic broom to upgrade my cauldron before making this level 1 potion, which I used to research Town Hall. Ooh, that sounds important. Finally went back underwater that night where I found Teehee had done a great job getting rid of all the rocks. And now I see there's a place I can put this steel factory. Added some storage for it too and upgraded it a bunch. Then added a second AI hub so I could have some more robots. I had one in my pocket that I put out immediately and started crafting another in one of my refineries. Be free, little robot. I spent day 87 fishing and upgrading things at the shanty shack, and finally had enough tuna to take the big bird. It gave me a little bird back, and I made it a little nest, and it will carry things from this island to my main place. I spent day 89 just building a bunch of things I didn't have yet, including this crazy cube, a Star Wars dance pad, a simple shelter, and these lily pads. I spent day 90 upgrading the shanty shack. Now I've got more room to add houses, and some extra benches so they can nap. Then it was over to Cattleman Josh's, where I traded some stuff enough to buy myself that cow. I made it a barn and a grass patch too. Then on day 91, I went to have some fun trying to feed this polar bear some tuna. It didn't work, so I went back and made this shiny rune instead. You can use potions for special buffs, but I don't have any extras to use yet. On day 92, I made some tea. I thought I needed something special, but turns out it's actually pretty easy. I used it to unlock scavenging missions. It unlocks this forge with all sorts of cool things, and this hut where I can send my settlers on scavenging missions. Your first mission, drinks from Coconut Island. On day 94, I decided to eat one of the carrots.
What? No, I'm a bunny. Guess I had to know, huh? Well, I'm cute.
Then made some bricks to make this town hall that night. It was day 95 and I finally unlocked flight, but looks like I'll be needing a few things before we can take off. With just a few days left, I've still got some things to unlock, so I sent the scavengers for some canvas I need, and then finally remembered I had this flare. When I launched it, this metal raft came flying in. Turns out it's someone named Dr. Roosevelt, and they're not doing so well. Surprise, now I have to make a life support machine too. It really wasn't too hard though. I made some diving tanks and fixed a broken radio, and boom, there you go.
There's hope, yes, always hope. No! I just deleted her. Ah! Go back, lady. Right there. There you go.
After that, I went to Cow Island again, where I traded for this skull key, which it turns out opens this big door over on Bunny Island. And inside, there are slimes, and somehow I have a pickaxe. I hit them with it until I got their guts. I took it back to see what I could make with it, but I guess I have to turn it into pudding first. So I made this dessert stand and put it to work. After that, I took the canvas the scavengers had collected and used it to make some dynamite, which I used to unlock this human cannon. Now we're talking. I was really rushing at this point to get everything done, and had a minor setback when I realized the settlers were eating the slime pudding I needed.
I mean, did y'all eat it? Oh, well, cool. That's cool,
Guess
guys.
I'll be going back to hunt more slimes. At least I can use this new sailboat I made. I couldn't resist testing it out first, but I don't think this island is quite ready. Slime hunting went even better this time, though. I fought the king slime this time and got a whole slime pudding out of him. And this little guy dropped a sword. Ooh, that's much better. In no time, I had enough slime and headed back home to make the slime armor I needed to make this fancy dragon boat.
The super boat.
I didn't need it, but I wanted it. Just like this human cannon I spent too much time making TNT for. Definitely worth it. It was almost time to go, so I celebrated with a bunch of fireworks, raising my settlers' happiness to 100%. On day 100, I grabbed the last of the supplies and said farewell before blasting off into the sky. It doesn't have to be over for you, though. You could always join me on this story too, don't you know?